I want to pose two questions. What is fundamental to reality? And why is this an important question? When we think of things that are fundamental, we think of time, death, gravity. When you touch something, you feel it. But when you feel something because you touch it, are you actually touching it? Because if you look at a wall under a microscope, what you see is you see individual molecules that are so small that you would never be able to detect them with your skin. So when you touch something and you feel it, what's actually happening is Newton's first law. The wall is pushing back against you with an equal and opposite force. And so all the electrons in that wall, all the neutrons, all the quarks that are in a superposition behaving as though there is a wave function driving their probability towards actualization with the power of observation. And somehow, the only conclusion I can draw is that somehow, in order for this system of constantly moving electrons and, bosons and fermions that are putting together this wall, must be aware that it's being pressed against. In order for something to push back, how does it know that it's being pushed against? So when you really think about the laws of physics, it kind of leaves a gap, because if there's no animacy in, things, then why were human beings and lizards and trees and stuff with intelligence able to emerge from it if it's not an intelligent system? That's like saying that human beings will create a computer that has a higher level of consciousness than we do. Which many people think already is a thing, but there's a difference between computational power and awareness. Anyway, what is fundamental and why is it important? Because if you understand how the universe works, you can use it to your advantage. So, with the wall pushing against you when you touch it, even though it's mostly empty space, what I'm wondering is what and where are the sensations that make you aware of the wall? Because you could say, oh, well, there are muscles in my finger, but then you break those down to molecules and quarks, and then you say, oh, my finger is exactly the same as the wall. So, awareness, really is the root of feeling stuff And the colors that you see when you look at anything are evidence that your brain, or at least some part of you, has the ability to sift through different forms of energy and create a visible, auditory, and tactile experience out of reality. So this is basically representative realism. It's the idea that something exists, that we exist, and that we are, with that thing. And people call it reality. People call it the universe. And when we think about our place in the universe as a species, who's even on that page? Because 8-9 billion of us, some of us want to see the world burn. Some of us don't want to find our cosmic place. Human beings have the power to affect reality, and I don't mean by picking something up and putting it back down. I mean, your mind is like a magnet, and all that exists outside of you